All right, guys, so this is day one post my surgery. And if you watch my first video, you know that I said I was going into surgery that day, which was yesterday. And I didn't tell you the type of surgery that I was getting. If you saw the thumbnail, you know that it was a breast reduction surgery. So let me just go into why I decided to get a breast reduction surgery. I'm 5'2". I've always had large breasts for my size because I was like a $125, soaking wet. And it never really bothered me, before as far as my breast size. I didn't have any back problems, anything like that. But what happened was I had breast cancer in 2005. So it's 2022 now. But I had breast cancer. I had to get a lumpectomy and a lymph node dissection, which means that the cancer had metastasized. So it moved from my left breast where the lump was at, and then it moved under my arm. And if you see, I still got my hospital bracelets on because I haven't cut them off yet. But anyway, I had a lumpectomy and I had a lymph node dissection, and then I had to go through chemo. I had to go through radiation. Chemo, I had 6 treatments. So I would get a treatment, and then 3 weeks later, I had to go back and get another treatment. In between those treatments, I had to get a new Lasta shot, which they gave it to me in the back of my neck. And that was to help build up the platelets. So when it was time to get my next shot, I wasn't in a position where my platelets was too low and I couldn't get the shot, which would prolong the next time I could get the shot. So every day I got the chemo, and then the next day I would go and they'd give me the new Lasta shot. I hated it. The after effects of that shot, it basically makes your bones, kind of, they hurt, after that shot. And it's a really cold shot. They try to warm it up a little bit. It's a shot that they have to keep in the refrigerator. So anybody who is going through chemo and they're getting that, they know exactly what I'm talking about. And so I would be sore, the next day. It would clear up, towards the end of the week. But that first week, I was dead tired. And the next week, I would be feeling great. I'd be back up to my normal self. But then the following week, I had to go right back in there to get the next shot. So that went on for 6 weeks. And then post my chemo, I had to get 6.5 weeks of radiation. So went through all of that, and it's been a long time, since that point. I ended up having my first child 8 years later. So in 2013, my son was born. And if you've had a baby, your breast gets larger, as if I needed to get larger breasts. But my breasts, got larger. But what I didn't know was radiation affects your breasts. So it doesn't grow, in size like a normal breast would, which hasn't had radiation. And so my right breast grew probably a cup or a cup 2, up in size. I was a double D with my breasts the way they normally were, but then it went up and it got to like a G. I was wearing a size G. I didn't even know they had letters like that. But that's what it was. And it did not, after I had my child, I also went through postpartum cardiomyopathy. And basically, look it up, but it happens only after pregnancy, after you've had a child. But being African American is a symptom of postpartum cardiomyopathy. It happens more in African Americans. If we didn't have already a lot of stuff that was bothering us, we have that we had to contend with. But the effects of that was I could barely breathe. So when I had my son, I ended up having to do a C-section. I didn't go in there to get a C-section, but I had to get a C-section because I got up to an inch below how big I have to be dilated, and it didn't budge anymore. So they were like, no, we got to do a C-section. Did a C-section, and my body was so, I guess, swollen, had so much fluid, on it. I gained, with fluid and everything, 60 some pounds, which, like I told you, I was 125. and I gained 60 pounds doing all, of that. So they thought it was preeclampsia, but it wasn't. Preeclampsia, you have three symptoms: high blood pressure, you have swelling, and then you have like blood in your urine. I didn't have blood in my urine, but I did have blood in my urine, and I was swollen, but I didn't have high blood pressure. So they weren't sure what was going on, but they induced labor on me. I ended up having a C-section. I stayed in the hospital an additional day because my son had jaundice, plus I had the C-section, and they keep you in there additional day. I came home that Tuesday. By that Friday, I was back in the hospital because I couldn't breathe. I was having problems breathing. I had to kind of shift my body so that I could breathe better. Went to the local hospital, and they were like, okay, we got to get that fluid off of you. So they gave me a fluid pill, which it works immediately, at least on me. And I just started releasing, the fluid out of me. And that's when the cardiologist came in, and he let me know. He said, this is what I think it is. So the cardiologist basically told me that postpartum cardiomyopathy was the only possible thing that it could be for me. And it's basically having a heart attack without actually having a heart attack. You had all of the symptoms. Your heart was failing. It was at a lower ejection fraction rate. If you look that up, your heart is supposed to be at 50 to 70%. Mine was at 21%. And so it was basically failing. But he felt, since I was very healthy, I didn't smoke, I didn't drink, I didn't have any other things. Plus, I was pretty healthy because I exercise, a couple of times a week. So I was a healthy person. He felt I could get back to 100%. So I was in the hospital for a week while they were giving me all of these drugs to see which one would work best on me. And I got out of the hospital after that. Mind you, for 2 weeks straight, I had pretty much been in the hospital, and I got a new baby boy. So he was actually there with me in the hospital. Because of all the drugs and everything I went through, I did not breastfeed. They said it would be okay, but I just didn't. I didn't want to have something later that it did affect him, and they didn't think it was. So I didn't breastfeed. I basically put him on formula. So now let's fast forward, to now. And basically, after going through breast cancer, after going through postpartum cardiomyopathy, over the years since then, and my son is 8 now, so within that 8-year span, my breast basically did not go down. It's basically stayed at a size G, and which was larger than the other breast. It didn't bother me as far as that, but it got to the point where it was such out of whack in comparison to the other one. And like I was saying, with the breast that went through the radiation, it didn't change size. Because of the radiation, your body doesn't function as normal as far as that particular breast. Now, it could be different with other people, but this is what the plastic surgeon was telling me, is that when you have radiation on a breast, that it does, impact it. And so as a woman goes through different natural things in her life, whether it's menopausal, postmenopausal, whatever it may be, your breast does adjust. They sag, different things happen. Not on that breast. It was basically like, nope, this is what we're going to be. This is the size we're going to be. We're staying. Which it actually seemed like it went down in size a little bit. And I know it did because of the lumpectomy. They did remove, the tumor that was there. So it's around a size C or D, right now. And the other one, like I said, it was a G. It's a big difference it's 3 or 4 cup sizes, difference with that. So I decided to get, the breast reduction, and I did that yesterday. So this is the first day post the breast reduction. And the way that I'm feeling, body is very sore. I went through the surgery. The surgery was about 2 hours long. Coming out of the surgery, I was in post-op probably another 2 hours because anesthesia impacts me. I'm not allergic to it or anything, but it makes me nauseated. I had a very good anesthesiologist, but coming out of that, I was vomiting, a lot, and they are not going to let you go until everything kind of ceases. And that's what was happening to me. I kept vomiting. I was so tired, so sleepy that with all the anesthesia they gave me, I could barely stay awake. When I finally came out of post-op where they sit you in another room where you could sit up, I didn't throw up as much when they brought me in the other room. A little bit, but not much. It had subsided, but I could not stay awake. I was just kept falling asleep. My husband was sitting beside me. And I was there way longer than I thought it was going to be. And mind you, it's Friday. It's going into the weekend. So I know all the nurses have had a rough week. They are ready to go. I didn't leave there until 7 o'clock that night, meaning that I got there at 11 o'clock. I didn't leave till 7 o'clock. So you got to get there 2 hours early, as I said on a previous video. So I got there at 11. The surgery was supposed to be at 1. It was about 1:20, 1:30. Post-op 2 hours plus additional, hours in the other room, just wait until I could get my bearings and everything together. So I finally leave at 7. And I guess the symptoms, I was a little woozy. I was still a little out of it. And one thing that I noticed, they'll say that with anesthesia, sometimes it's hard to go to the bathroom, even just urinating. And I didn't find it hard to urinate, but you had to try. It wasn't like you go in there and then it just starts flowing, at least not for me. I had to kind of force it out. It didn't hurt or anything like that, but it just didn't come out, without you kind of forcing it. So that went on until probably early in the morning for the next day. It's fine now. I am fully into the next day. It is, I don't have my watch on. I want to, hold on, let me see. Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 5:22 p.m.
Okay, so it's 5:30 right now in the afternoon. I don't have my watch or anything on. I didn't put any of that on. But that's what time it is now. It took probably until a couple of hours ago until it became normal for me to go to the bathroom and didn't have to try, So I had that, not really an issue, but I had that symptom. My body itself, very, very sore. My back is sore. When I cough, I can feel it all in here. They put you on like an elastic a bra rather. And so it's basically just a ruffled elastic thing that has Velcro. That's what they put on you to come out. I won't lift my shirt to show you that, but that's what's actually on there. And it's very sore. I'm not bleeding or anything like that. My husband helped me change my gauze early this morning, probably 7 or 8 o'clock. I didn't have problems sleeping or anything like that. I sleep on my back anyway, so didn't have those issues. But like I said, I am sore, it's sore definitely to the touch. All around. I haven't looked at my incisions or anything like that because it is so sore. But other than that, I'm tired a little bit. I've been laying down, today. I tried not to lay down too much because it does keep you sore with that. But I've been walking around. Doesn't hurt when I go up steps or anything. My mom thought it would hurt, walking up the steps. It doesn't. You can't pick up anything. You can't drive for at least the next week. But they said, if you can go without driving for 2 weeks, that's even better. I think the only thing that would impact me is I normally take my son to school. So my husband is going to have to take him to school and pick him up. But they said at least a week you shouldn't drive. And I think a lot of it is going to deal with making sure the anesthesia is out of you, and then how it's going to feel, turning the steering wheel and everything. If you got an easy car where it doesn't hurt to turn, like I couldn't drive my husband's SUV. It is so hard, the power steering is hard to turn. My car, I have a Lexus, it's easy, it's simple. I can one-hand it, so I don't think it's going to be an issue. But I am going to follow the rules. I am going to wait at least a week before I drive. The soreness, like I said, I got to call them Monday to see if I got to keep this bra on. They said that I can take a shower today, just don't get the incision soaked. So, if you want to take a shower, you can do that. So that shouldn't be, a problem. I was going to do it later, today, just to kind of see how that is, because I think the warm water will help, my body. I did put on an ice pack. They didn't mention about an ice pack, but I know that helps, with soreness and swelling. I can't really tell that it's swollen. When I look at it, it's symmetrical. It looks just like, the other breast now, which I am very happy about, because I can tell you I was very nervous. I was scared, let's just say that. I don't like hospitals. I don't like needles. I don't like doctors, any of that stuff. And even with putting the IV, they always have a problem because I got small veins, and I'm like, hey, this is what you get. I can't do anything about the veins. And, they always tell you to drink water. Well, they don't want you to have anything, after 10 o'clock the previous day. They want you no foods and no liquids. They did say I could drink water, clear liquids, but I think they really don't want you drinking, anything, and definitely not eating. So that was the other thing. You would think I'd be hungry coming out, of the surgery, a little bit, but it was more for the nausea, to kind of keep that down. So I kind of had crackers, but I wasn't hungry, even into late in the night. I couldn't eat anything until today. And then I ate some chicken and rice, type broth and soup. But that was really it. I have not been really hungry today. Just snacking on little things. Really just want liquids, fluids and things like that. So hopefully, guys, this kind of give you an idea if you're looking into going through something like this. I know other people have had, of course, breast cancer. Some of them probably immediately went into breast, augmentation. I didn't want to do anything like that. One, I was tired enough with dealing with the chemo and the radiation. But like I said, at that time, there was no difference in my breast. It changed over the years. And that's what made me end up doing it. And I'm still happy that I did it, even though I am sore as all get out right now. But hopefully this video can help someone who may be thinking about it. If you have any questions, I can tell you, how things were with me. I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to do anything like that, but I'm just trying to put this out there. Maybe there's someone that this can actually help who's thinking about doing that. So hopefully this video helped you. Like I said, I will chronicle, the next couple of days until I get to the point of where everything's okay. I'll bring you guys videos just to kind of give you an update on where I am. This is day 2. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I look forward to talking to you again. Please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for joining Moncho Publishers.
Yeah, yeah.